Well, hello students. This is going to be the first of 3 parts to review for your midterm exam. I'd like you to kind of walk through it as I explain it from your own study guide, but when you get home, the best way to study for any kind of math test, provided that you've got problems already worked out, is to cover them up with a blank paper, try it on your own, pull back the sheet, see if you got it right. If you did, then move on to the next one. If you didn't, then try to figure out what happened. Try it again. Make sure you can get it right the second time. And really, there's no magic to it, but it's just a matter of trying it. And particularly if you've been given the answers, it's really a good way to study. Anyhow, let's get to the study guide. We've got a company with the profit represented by that particular quadratic equation. X represents the number of units. How many will they need to break even? Well, break even means that they come and they hit 0 on the y-axis. I know that it's there, but we're referencing the up and down here. So all you got to do is plug it in, y equals menu, find the intersection, go second calc, number 5, move the cursor to where that intersection is and hit enter 3 times. All right, number 2, the horizontal distance between the functions here. Okay, well, horizontal is this way, so we're talking about x values, from this x value to that x value. Now, you've been given this equation, and so you've got to find the vertex, and frankly, we don't even need to find the y value. All you got to do is do the negative b over 2a and plug it in, and you get that the x value of this particular equation, the vertex, is at 1/4. Now you have to do a quadratic regression over here, and when you do, you come up with that equation again. Negative b over 2a will give you the x value. And so if this one is 1/4 and this one is at 6, you know, how far is it from 1/4 to 6? So it would be 5 3/4 units. All right, let's try number 3. All right, here we're to graph this function. We're to graph it by hand. You find the vertex. X equals +1, you plug +1 here and here, you get the y value is -5. And so you locate the vertex at 1, well, let's see, where am I? Well, okay, the x-axis is at 1, the vertex is down here at 1, -5. The y-intercept happens to be at -2, so since that's one point to the left, we got the other point just to the right, and we can draw our equation. Now, for some reason, I forgot to do number 4, so let's do it right now. If it's got roots of -6 and 2, that means it looks like this, which means the factors would be the opposite sign multiplied together to get you 0. And you multiply here, x squared, and that'd be -2x plus 6, that'd be plus 4x, and then 6 times -2 is -12, and there you have it. Okay, number 5, given the graph here, what's the vertex if we apply the transformation of -3? Let's see here. I think I'm missing something here. Oh, okay. It's written kind of strangely. Here we know that this thing is going to be, I'm going to draw a sketch right here. It's going to be up here at +3. And now we want it down at -3 from there. So where is it going to land? Well, 3 units down from that would be at 0, 0. All right, well, let me erase that and we'll get to the next one. All right, following equation in vertex form using completing the square. This is standard form, so we're going to move the 11 over like we do here. We're going to create a perfect square term here by taking this number, the b number, divide it by 2. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. We add it to this side and to that side. So negative 11 plus, and this is essentially 9, is negative 2. Okay, now what's weird is now we move the negative 2 back here and we put a y out front. And so the final vertex form is that one, and that actually is the same equation as that. You could put them both in the y equals menu, graph them, and you'd see the same line. Okay, here we have a rational function trying to determine the vertical and horizontal asymptotes. The vertical is going to go through the number that makes the denominator become a 0. And hopefully you can see that if x were a negative 2, negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So the vertical asymptote is going to be at negative 2. Horizontal asymptote is going to be at negative 6 on the y-axis. Whoops. Okay, number 8. We've seen these kind of problems before. We're trying to find when will the rocket be at 40 feet in the air, and that's on the way down. So we plot it, y sub 2, 40, we find the intersection, and it's at 14.9 seconds. Now in this case, this problem uses y's, which I don't like because we're used to using x's, so I'd like you to change. If on the midterm that you have y's, just on your paper do x. Got to move this minus 4y over here. So we've got this quadratic equation. The a number, in fact, let me write that down. A would equal to 1, b would equal to 4, c would equal to 6. And you plug it in. Now you do have to know the quadratic formula from memory. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And you can sing it if you'd like. But be sure to put the parentheses there. If you do, it's really hard to make a mistake. So it turns out that the discriminant, the number under the radical sign when you do all this computation, is negative 8. Well, we know we can't take a square root of a negative 8, but we can pull out the square root of a negative 1 and call it I, and then break 8 down into 4 and 2, and square root of 4 is 2. And so we end up with this situation. The 4 divides by 2, the 2 divides by 2, and so you have negative 2 plus 1i times the square root of 2. And then the last one on this review, the product of, here we have a complex number, a real number with an imaginary number, times a real number plus imaginary. The only thing that's different here is you need to remember when you have I times I, you get I squared, and that equals a special number, negative 1. So we go 3 times 4 is 12, 3 times 6i, 18i, negative 5i times 4, negative 20i, negative 5i times 6i is negative 30i squared. Okay, again, note, I squared is negative 1. And we combine those inner terms, and we'll end up adding a 12 with what now becomes a positive 30. And we get 42 minus 2i. And that's review number 1.